Story 1. There is only one way. Ignore what they say and pay attention to their actual actions over a long period. Not flashy, highly visible actions, but what they do for you when no one is looking and not seeking credit. Story 2. A variety of little ways. When my girlfriend practices calligraphy, she loves to write my name and has it throughout her notebooks. She made me a watercolor cutout card of us sitting under a blanket in the mountains for my birthday. She paid for us to travel together when I was in school and not making much money, just so we could go places together. She bought a PlayStation 5 even though she is not a gamer, just so she could connect with me by playing games together. If we have friends over when I get home from work, she will come to the bedroom to give me a hug when I am changing clothes. She is really good at math and has gone out of her way countless times to make me study plans and worksheets for my calculus classes. Sometimes she puts her head on my chest when we are going to sleep and scratches my head. She threw me a surprise party when I got my degree. We have our own secret language. We laugh at a lot of nonsense together. Maybe some of these on their own may not explicitly be defined as acts of love, but put them into context and it surely feels like it. Story 3. When you feel comfortable being completely yourself around them, knowing they will accept that side of you no matter what. Story 4. This is purely anecdotal, but for me and my relationship, it's the little things that truly matter. We are always capable of discussion instead of argument. We laugh at silly mistakes, and most importantly, he reaches to grab my hand in the middle of the night, every night. Love is scary and can never be truly known. People are great at creating a false mask of themselves. The beauty of love is that despite knowing it could all secretly be fake, you say, "What the hell?" and just let it exist. Don't let the fear of what if stop you from finding out. Story 5. I don't know if there is a real answer to this, but wanting to accompany someone to doctor's appointments strikes me as heartfelt because there is nothing truly in it for the other person apart from looking after your well-being. Story 6. My husband had been out all day at work and then was at rugby training in the evening. I texted him while he was out that there was a massive spider that had crawled under the sofa and I was too scared, so I was going to bed. He got home at 9:30, exhausted, having had no dinner, and took our living room apart to find that spider because he didn't want me scared in my own house. It's purely anecdotal, but it's the most I've ever felt that somebody really loved me. Story 7. When they choose you, not just in the big moments but in the small ones, when they save you the last bite of their favorite food, remember the little things you say, and make the effort even when it is inconvenient. Love is not just words. It is consistency. Story 8. I don't really have an answer to this, but every time I see my girlfriend, I smile. For example, when I pick her up from work, I immediately smile when I see her come out of the building. Looking for her between the grocery store aisles? When we spot each other, we smile. Every time we make eye contact, I smile. I hope she realizes how much I love her. I'm pretty sure she does. I also appreciate the comment someone made about being able to be yourself with someone without fear of being judged. Story 9. They make an effort to genuinely listen to you and honor your needs. At least that's how I feel loved. Story 10. When I had the flu last month, my boyfriend drove 2 hours to bring me homemade soup and stayed up all night ensuring my fever didn't spike. He didn't post about it on social media or tell anyone. He just quietly took care of me because that's who he is. Story 11. My simplest explanation is that they regard you in the same light as themselves. Everyone is naturally selfish to a degree. It's just the human need for self-preservation. When in love, you will occupy that same selfish space. If you're not happy, your partner will make it their goal to remedy your mood, if possible. If you need help, they will sacrifice their well-being to ensure you are supported. Essentially, you become one. Of course, you are different people, and that is an aspect of attraction, but you come together seamlessly and easily, even if your goals are different. Your happiness makes them happy. You look out for each other in everything. You are flexible as you each continue to grow, adjusting to one another while maintaining unwavering support. It's like being on a team. Someone always has your back, no matter what. Story 12. They are forgiving, although there are exceptions depending on the severity of your mistake. Story 13. When they know you, they see your idiosyncrasies even more than you do, and they don't resent you for it. They recognize how you like your coffee and what mannerisms indicate you're stressed or excited. They find ways, both big and small, to include you in their lives. They know you, don't resent you, and strive to improve themselves personally and as a romantic couple. Story 14. Boost for personal growth. Those who truly love you encourage you to shine and be the best version of yourself, supporting your dreams and goals without imposing limits on you. Prioritize mutual well-being. They want the best for you, even if that means acknowledging that, at some point, the relationship is no longer benefiting both parties. Emotional maturity. Authentic love has the ability to accept changes and admit when it is better to go separate ways, always for the well-being of both. In short, it is a love that is neither possessive nor selfish, but rather focuses on growth, honesty, and mutual respect. This type of love encourages personal development and real happiness beyond simple companionship. Story 15. If they make time for you, it could mean scheduling time to hang out or stopping what they are doing to listen or talk to you. Story 16. Women often don't realize until they reach their 40s whether their husbands truly love them. Mine was always attentive and loving. I could have sworn he loved me unconditionally. The moment my skin started to sag, he changed dramatically. Just as you don't know if someone is a good parent until their children enter their teenage years, you can't tell if your partner is decent until he no longer finds you presentable. Keep that in mind, ladies. Story 17. Actions speak more than words. That's all I can say. Actions do not mean buying things and other superficial gestures. If you love someone and they love you, your soul and body will be at peace. As women, when we are loved, we shine. You can see the happiness on our faces, and our bodies become healthier. We will always be happy, and that's all because of our partners. If I were with a man and we loved each other, you would feel it when you are around us. Story 18. The other day, I walked past my partner's office, and he was singing a random song to himself, except all the words were just my name. Story 19. Someone who notices all the little things that you love and keeps mental notes to surprise you later. Story 20. Actions matter. Not just superficial actions that are visible to others. Sometimes, when you reflect on it, you realize that a person is doing something for you, even when they don't have to gain anything in return. When they still care about you as much as they can, that is love. At least, that is what I think. Story 21. If they wag their tail when you come home, bring you toys, or circle around you with a droopy smile on their face. Story 22. I believe love is giving someone a second chance, even when they may not deserve it, not judging them by their weakest moments, and being willing to help them get back on their feet when they are knocked down. Story 23. They respect your boundaries and make you feel safe. Every time you spend time with them, you walk away feeling better rather than feeling nothing or worse. Story 24. My grandfather said if you know you love someone, you will take care of them when they are sick. I often think about that, as love doesn't have to be sexual. It is about caring, being loving, and generous. Story 25. When you do a massive fart and hold their head under the covers, they scream, laugh, punch you, and call you a mother. The whole time you are laughing like Skeletor. Then and only then can you truly know. Story 26. Since I can't sleep, it's been 2 months, but I'm pretty sure my boyfriend loves me. He is always the first to grab my hand at church, texts me first thing when he leaves work, plans our weekends, asks for feedback on the next place he is going to rent, wants to see me more often even though we meet 3 to 4 times per week, asks if I want anything from the grocery store, and remembers which brands I like. Basically, he puts me first and I put him first too. I try to grab his hands first at church. I pray for him and his family, and I'm always thinking of little cute things I can do to make him feel special. My goal is to make him happier than he makes me. Story 27. If you are looking for a measure or a criterion, in my experience, you will always be suspicious, vigilant, and distant, finding tiny actions that appear to be violations and then feeling betrayed. To me, love is about coming back together and trying again. That is how you know what love is. When you have a problem, do you attempt to fix it or point fingers and walk away? Story 28. If I enjoy doing something a lot and you don't, but you're willing to do it with me even if it's once in a while, that's love. For example, I loved tequila in college. My college girlfriend hated it. On special occasions, she would do a shot of tequila with me, and I told her how much I appreciated it every time. Simple things. Story 29. Their love is consistent, even during tough times, and they prioritize your happiness. You feel safe and supported when you are with them. Story 30. I don't know exactly how it is for the other person. I was, and still am, head over heels in love with someone who didn't feel the same way. However, that rejection didn't hurt for some reason. I love and appreciate her so much for the kind of person she is that my own selfish desires don't really come into play anymore. I just want her to find her person and be as happy as she can be. It's a pretty good feeling, to be honest. Story 31. Most replies here describe comfort, infatuation, adoration, or feelings associated with love. Unfortunately, that only relates to feelings. Love cannot be known or guaranteed for tomorrow. The only real constant for love is based on continuous respect and the decision to choose one another every day. This requires honor, integrity, and devotion. Story 32. My mom genuinely loves me. She drove for 4 hours to pick me up after her job when I was heartbroken and needed her. Story 33. One way to know if someone genuinely loves you is to look at their actions more than their words. It is easy to say, "I love you," but not so simple to be consistently kind and caring over the years. Another way is to discover whether the person stands by your side when you hit a rough patch. It is easy to be beside you during good times, but not as easy during hard times. Story 34. When I wear my oversized t-shirt with holes in it and drool on the pillow because of my retainers, he still kisses me goodnight, says he loves me, and spoons me to sleep. Story 35. When you are at your absolute worst and they still choose to stay. I had a mental breakdown at 3 a.m., mascara running down my face, and my boyfriend just held me and stroked my hair until I calmed down. Story 36. I didn't realize I genuinely loved my wife until she was leaving me. At this point, I am doing everything I can to work on myself and become the best man I can be in hopes that she may take me back. It took hitting rock bottom for me to understand how much I value her and how amazing she is to me. There is nothing I wouldn't do, and it crushes my soul every day. Story 37. You feel lucky and grateful they are with you because life is easier. He thinks he is the lucky one to be with me, but he is wrong. I am the lucky one. Story 38. A telling example is that they are selfless in making you happy. They consider your well-being and comfort and go out of their way to do this without even thinking about it. Story 39. It's in the ways they think you don't notice. When they seek any reaction from you, even a positive one, it serves their benefit. However, when someone stares at you, believing you are not paying attention, or makes your life easier in ways you may not see, or holds you tighter when they think you are asleep, that is a response to their own feelings. Story 40. When they drop everything and help you in a time of crisis. My dad had a stroke last July. My boyfriend at the time dropped everything, drove 3 hours to be with me, and supported me as I tried to figure out what to do next. He cooked for me, cleaned, comforted me, brought me treats, and upended his entire life to be my support system. He visited my dad in the hospital when I had to go to work, so I knew he wasn't alone. When my dad ultimately passed away 4 months later, he remained with me. He would take me on drives when all I could do was cry at 2 a.m. He took me grocery shopping and led me down every aisle so I could pick out snacks. He continued to support me in every way I could have imagined. He was and is my rock. We married this past October on Halloween because he knows it is my favorite holiday. It was a simple courthouse wedding with just our mothers, and it was perfect. He still takes care of me in my grief. He is patient when I'm upset or short with him due to the stress of the ongoing emotions and responsibilities that come with the death of a beloved parent. He is understanding when I apologize and loves me all the same. I knew I wanted to marry him before my dad got sick, but after seeing him in a time of crisis, it wasn't even a question. There was zero hesitation. He is unequivocally the best person I know, and I'm so lucky. Story 41. She stayed when I had cancer. Financially, it was the hardest time for us. I was not the best person to be around during that period. I even offered her the opportunity to leave several times, but she never did, even at my worst. Story 42. When you share Ben & Jerry's and after he takes a bite, he scoops the best parts with all the caramel and chocolate fish and has it ready for you. After 8 years together, he has always done this. Story 43. I heard a story about the man who invented rubber cleaning gloves. His wife was a cleaning lady whose hands would come home calloused and raw. He wanted to create something for her that would alleviate her pain. The phrase I remember was, "He loved her to the point of invention." Story 44. You can observe how they treat someone or something they dislike or care little about, and see if you receive the same treatment. Story 45. When they save you the last slice of pizza without you even asking, that is real love, sacrificing deliciousness for your happiness. Story 46. No judging or hating, just being there for you and genuinely interested in you. Sex is great and works together with you on fixing and improving things. Calms you down when they are around you. Story 47. They stay with you, even when you are not the most attractive person at the moment and may never be again. Story 48. You may not realize it, but I'll give you a hint. If you are a man, they don't love you. They honestly don't even care. You are what you provide for them. No one on the planet cares who you are. They listen to you, talk to you, or do anything to appease you and keep you around. But understand that at the end of the day, if you were to die, no one would miss you. Your life would fade into obscurity the same day it ended. Your children will miss the driver, the mechanic, and the repairman, not the father. Your wife will miss the provider, the laborer, and the gift giver, not the husband. As long as you acknowledge that the people around you only pretend to care long enough to benefit from your existence, you will be fine. Don't fall into any delusions hoping to be loved one day. It isn't possible unless you count your pets, because they are too innocent to be malicious in that way. Story 49. They will challenge you to help you overcome your fears and achieve your goals. This may be difficult to accept, but you will miss them once they're gone. Story 50. Just scrolling through this thread right now, deeply wishing I could finally meet a woman with some or all of the qualities I am reading. Story 51. Knowing each other so deeply allows you to understand what matters to the other person, and you put this understanding into practice every day. Story 52. When they listen attentively until they can anticipate your needs without you having to ask. When they love you so well that you start to love yourself because you can't help but love the one your partner cherishes. When they are supportive but hold you accountable, genuine, thoughtful, and someone you can be your true self around. Story 53. If you mean knowledge in a scientific sense, you don't have it. As people mentioned below, it's about how you're treated. However, you must start with yourself because if you do not believe you are capable of being loved, no amount of evidence will convince you. Story 54. I have only ever felt genuinely loved by my mother, my child, and my best friend. A common thread among the three is that helping or supporting one another feels as easy as breathing. No task or favor feels like a burden. Asking for help feels natural for me, as I would rather perish under the weight of a million boulders than ask for help. Or it isn't even needed because we are in tune enough to be ready before the question is asked. Complete lack of judgment is important as well. Not to the point where they don't call you out on your mistakes when needed, but they accept your quirks, questionable but mostly harmless decisions, and sometimes out-of-pocket opinions. You feel safe being yourself. I have yet to meet a man with whom I feel safe enough to be myself, be vulnerable or ask for help, but maybe they exist. Alternatively, I might eventually live out my life on a several hundred-acre compound with my best friend and be content with nature as my companion. Story 55. It comes down to the little things, honestly. Those details show that they know you intimately, pay attention, and care. For example, stopping by a bakery on the way home to get your favorite cookie just because. Story 56. They see me at my worst, and they are still happy to see me the next day. They aren't even fazed that I cried angry, snotty tears all over myself the night before. Story 57. Being comfortable and being yourself around someone is important. Doing small things together because you both enjoy them makes the time spent together more meaningful, without any expectations or stress. My boyfriend got me a box of glasses cleaners after I had mentioned that I couldn't find them months ago. Last week, I almost cried, mostly from being tired from work because he remembered. Story 58. When their actions and intentions match their words, it creates a sense of genuineness and honesty that lasts longer than flashy trends, which get old quickly. Story 59. They show up even when it is inconvenient, they listen when you speak, and they never make you feel like you have to earn their kindness. Story 60. When my partner read a whole book about the illness I have, he showed me love in many different ways. He saw me in my worst and most vulnerable moments and still told me I was beautiful. He would get me snacks whenever he was out. He knew my favorite flowers and listened to my work stories. He learned about my job, even though he had no personal interest in it. He massaged my legs and shoulders, loved my animals, and learned one of my favorite songs on the guitar. That was the real stuff, and it was wonderful. Story 61. When they can look at you and see something is wrong without saying anything and try to cheer you up, or if they do something without you having to ask them to do it. Story 62. You will know it's real when you feel at peace, not anxious. When their presence feels like home. When love feels like a soft place to land, not something you have to fight for. Love isn't just words. It's in the way someone shows up for you, even in the small, unglamorous moments. In my opinion, it's a hard find. Even if you find such a person, it requires a lot of work from both sides to maintain the relationship, but it is definitely worth it at the end of the day. Story 63. They listen to me, and I am actually being heard. They take me into consideration when making decisions that may affect me, and they remember the little details. Story 64. They don't hurt you when they are upset. Everyone fights, has arguments, and disagrees, but when your partner is frustrated, someone who loves you won't try to insult you. Story 65. You don't know how they know that you genuinely love them. That's the trust element of a relationship. Story 66. If you argue with each other, it is ultimately to reach the same conclusion, not to convince them you are more right than they are. Story 67. You can see how they treat you daily and how far they will go out of their way to put a smile on your face. Story 68. Still finding out. A phrase that resonates is, if he wanted to, he would. There are many emotionally unintelligent men out there than we think. Story 69. You are human? Can't you feel love? The main question might be, what are the common signs women display for men that men often take for granted? Love can be felt, you can sense it. When people are in love, what signs do they show? What signs form a foundation? What are the common signs? Ask with more clarity. Good luck to whoever you are trying to watch over. Story 70. When they are willing to put your happiness above their own. I know it sounds cliché, but that is the best way to measure it, in my opinion. Story 71. When you genuinely feel that they are prioritizing your concerns over their own, it can create a sense of closeness. It can feel as though they are very present in your life in a healthy and supportive way. Both of you may recognize that spending a weekend apart is just a challenge of who will admit they miss the other. Story 72. They will kiss and hug you without being asked. They will get excited when they see you. They will not try to control your voice, and they will not always change the subject to themselves when they are the ones who hurt you. They will work on the relationship without being asked. They will be there for you when you are sick, even if it is often. In all ways, they will grow for you. Story 73. For me, it's the little things. To be loved is to be known. When I started dating my boyfriend, one of the first times we went out, we got quite drunk. The next day, I woke up and he had charged my phone and set his alarm because he remembered I had lunch plans with a friend. Every time he thinks I'm sleeping, he always tucks me in with the blankets because he thinks I'm cold. In the beginning, I spent almost 4 days in his apartment with the worst flu ever, and he cooked and made tea for me every single day. He always pays attention to everything I say, so whenever I come up with a new story, he remembers the background and all the details I told him a long time ago. Now, every time he wakes up to go to work and I stay asleep, I wake up to everything set for my breakfast, even the coffee capsule. For me, love will always be found in the small things. Story 74. When my husband cares for me through a severe chronic illness, I know that he is with me through thick and thin. He has truly passed the test with flying colors. Random flowers and love notes left for me to find are just 2 acts of recognition and love. Story 75. I am always cold, but my partner is a bit frugal. He turns the heat off during the day when he works from home. I go to my office and return around 5 p.m. He told me that at 4:30 p.m., he turns the heat on, so it is just warm enough when I get home. He never forgets. Story 76. Being in a brand new relationship for about 6 months, I appreciate when someone shows interest in what I enjoy. It helps that we have similar interests. One of the best experiences I had was when a movie about the Dota 2 tournament was released. I mentioned that it had a great story, and she agreed to watch it with me. After we watched it, she asked a few questions. The next day, she came back and said she read more about the story and found it fascinating. She also mentioned there is a sequel and asked if I wanted to watch it together. Something small like that, where someone takes an interest in the things you care about, made a significant impact on me. Story 77. When people remember small details about you, it's surprising how many others fail to remember even basic information about someone else. Story 78. Devotion and loyalty are long-term commitments. When someone is still practicing thoughtful actions months after you meet, such as making your coffee in the morning, initiating plans, or giving little gifts, it shows they are thinking of you. They actively include you in their life in a way that considers your feelings and needs. Story 79. Truly loves you? I got out of an abusive relationship. Yes, she was the abusive one, mentally and verbally, and she cheated on me twice, hiding it very well. After some time, I met a girl and we instantly clicked. Fast forward 5.5 months. She asked if we were together, and I finally felt comfortable enough to say yes. She waited by my side for 5.5 months for me to be ready to date. She was patient and understanding. Story 80. You cannot. Change is a genuine feeling. True love can fade or deteriorate, even if you know it is not a certainty. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.